How long is this your tape? 30 minutes?
1 hour.
Oh, 1 hour, okay.
I was going to ask you, sir, to talk about books. I know that you've done a lot in that sector, and you keep writing or publishing books like once in 2 years and all that.
Yeah.
Are you working on any one now, or have you just released any?
I've written 110 books. My books center on leadership, family, finance, and Christian life in general. Leadership, family, finance, and Christian life in general. Audio tapes, CDs are for 10 years. MP3, MP4s, we don't yet know, but they too may not be for more than 10 years or 15, 20 years. But books are forever. Whether it is in electronic print or in paper print. Leaders are readers. I write books because it captures who I am. It captures what I know. It captures what I want somebody else to learn. I believe that we need to create a culture in our nation where we encourage people to write more. Because imagine if we had the books written by some of the people who never went to school, we would have had greater impact. We just know in history, Queen Amina of Zaria. We don't know much about her. Suppose there were things she wrote. Women will have learned how to be a leader from a woman's perspective. If somebody like Al-Hassan Tata had written books, that was the first mega millionaire to come out of the north and who has created 4 generations of wealth, which is not common. We will have learned how to create generational wealth from Al-Hassan Tata. If Baba Adiola Odutola, who founded Odutola Tires, Odutola Industries, had put his business ideas in writing, imagine what would have happened. Some of the things some of our students will go to Harvard to learn, these men learned it, they practicalized it in this nation. Odutola was producing tires in Ibadan. If some of those people, and then in the world of politics, if somebody like Baba Awolowo had put all his thoughts in how to do, of course he did write some things, but if you imagine if every concept he had was put in writing. So books make it the man, books capture the future, books give us perspective, helps us to understand cultures, and that's the reason I'm a passionate reader and a passionate writer. I read 4 books a week now.
4 books a week?
I read 4 a week because I just download them electronically in buying it. I get notice every day of 10 books, then I see if I don't like it, if I like it, so I read 4 a week. It is intense, but I enjoy it.
Are you working on any new one?
I'm writing a couple of books right now. One of the most crazy one I'm writing is called The 52 Laws of Money. The 52 Laws of Money. Money is currency. See that flowing to you or flowing away. Money is what people want, but they don't know how to get it. So you can do all kinds of things with money. M's, mistake, or magnetize. You can make it, multiply it, and manage it. So I'm writing a new book on the laws of money. What are the laws that undergird money? For example, the laws of strategizing, the laws of entrepreneurship. Some people don't realize if you have a PhD today, you may not be able to earn like Baba Mulika, who is a bricklayer, because he's handling 10 jobs and he's a contractor. So he's created multiple streams. Meanwhile, a man with PhD, his salary is fixed. But Baba Mulika, who did not go to school, his streams are coming from 10 places. And so somebody's wondering, how come this man who did not go to school is earning more? Because he understood the laws of money. I hope I answered.
Yes, sir. And the last one, sir. Is it true that for anybody to survive in today's times that you must have several streams of income? People say that, and I'm wondering if it's global.
Well, let's look at it this way. In several ways, it is true. And in several ways, it is also a necessity. I personally feel that part of the greatest damage of the colonial master was that they came, told us to go to school and look for a job. And once you get a job, it gives you the impression you have income. And if you look, those who have job and those who have business are not on the same level. Tomorrow morning, or rather, this is almost 3:30. By 5 o'clock, the Third Mainland Bridge will be jammed. It's the rat race. 5 in the morning, the road was jammed to come to the island for work. 5 in the evening, you write a book, you write anything people use, they have to pay you. That's why if you upload something on YouTube, what they are giving you is royalty for your intellectual property or copyright, even though it's just a funny skit. I mean, there's that guy on TikTok, all he does is put a funny video on and all he does is this. And now he has 500,000 followers and it has made him, so that's royalty. Number 6 is rights, which is franchise. McDonald's knows that they don't want to come to Nigeria. I mean, okay, KFC knows they don't want to come to Nigeria. So they give some people the rights. And they say, for these rights, for every branch you open, give us $25,000. So the owners of the KFC, while they are in their office in Kentucky, they are getting a flow of money from every branch you open in Okokomaiku, Shangisha, Upoyosa in Ibadan, Eleta, Labo, wherever you open it, they don't want to know. As long as once you open it, they get their rights, you know. And then number 7 is returns. You receive dividends from investments. Those who buy shares and stocks, there's yearly returns. And the last, number 8 is reach. Reach basically means, for example, broadcast, appearances. Steve Harvey hardly passed his university degree. Slept in his car at one time. But today, 30 minutes to 1 hour, he is paid $150,000 every broadcast. I remember being flown by private jet from Toronto to Dulles Airport in Washington. I and one of my sons, I was there to speak for a TV station. And we were feeling good that they brought us in a private jet, even though it was hired. Then Steve Harvey, just a joker, just a comedian, was passing by greeting everyone, how you all doing, how you all doing? And he went into his Gulf Stream of $35 million. What does he do? The next R, which is the R of how much you can reach through, you know, many. So these are the things also which our young people need to be told, that it's not about just get an education and start looking for work. The guy was even the last person considered on the day he was considered, I think it was at the Apollo or Palladium, the day he would tell his joke. Apparently somebody has been writing jokes but was shining until the day the man didn't show. And he came there and that was history. Today, nobody wants to know what he read. But when he made it, even the town he comes from, they put his name on one of the boulevards. And lastly, a revolution. That is disrupting society. Sure, it is this way we are running, putting cows in our city, that we are disrupting systems. The only reason why today you and I have a phone that is working without cables is disruption of technology. It's technology disruption. Cameras in this house that makes me from London to see my housekeeper, that's disruption. Being able to put the light on with my phone, that's disruption. My housekeeper is not at home on Saturdays, she goes off. So from London, I have to put the light off in Lagos. That is what we need. That's disruption. That's the last one. Revolution thinking. Computers with sight, wearable technology, clothes that, our military should be able, we should have doctors who have reached the point they've made clothes which if you wear it, it begins to release in your body some things against malaria. I hope I answered you.
You did, sir. Sir, anytime I listen to you or your podcast and all that, I always wonder, you're always on top of whatever you say, and I'm wondering, how does Pastor Matthew, how do you get all the information? And
one of the things I found that God taught me was to not allow myself to be boxed. The generation who taught us when I went to seminary were very boxed. You're a full-time ministry. You cannot be anything else. So they died poor. They died broke. With all due respect, my heart broke when last week I called one of my classmates from Bible school. He had left a note at KICC. He's been looking for me. He's now been retired by his denomination since 5 years. He's 5 years older than me. I went to Bible school very young. He's 5 years older than me. He said, Matthew, he retired into a house without doors and windows because the people who trained us made us to think one box. God began to teach me that, look, all the giftings in you, I didn't give you so that you can waste. I gave you the capacity to think, to dream, to imagine. So I do not stay in a box. I do not just read Christian books. You look at even just this table, the first magazine on top is Forbes. Next one will be on real estate. I behave like a bee. A bee picks all the nectars it can find from all the flowers to create honey. So by the time you taste the honey, you do not know which nectar you are tasting, but it was collected from it. In fact, it is said that in the lifetime of a bee, it has picked 5 million nectars. So I believe that's also part of what we should teach our younger generation. That look, your nation, your government is not the one to make it happen for you. In the words of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, ask not what your nation can do for you. Ask what you can do for your nation.
The last one, sir. KICC at 70. What's your vision for the church?
Well, my vision is to see a generation that will rise and take the church to the next level, that will dream bigger than I dreamed, that will do better than I did. KICC is slightly different. We empower a person and we pull back a little bit and see his gift come forth. I'm not the kind of person who over supervises. I love to see people's giftings and abilities come out. And when I see that you're a faithful person, I'm ready to encourage you, go on TV, do this, do that, And when you say KICC in Nigeria today, many times apart from me, people mention Femi Fashiru, because from day one I say, yeah, I want Nigeria to be on TV. I told Ghana to be on TV, and they're doing very well. So the vision is to see the baton passed. The worst thing in any relay race is to have fantastic athletes, but poor at passing the baton. 2007 or 2008 Olympics. The best athletic team, United States of America, behaved poorly in the passing of the baton. They did not win. So, I'm not interested in staying there until I die. One of the greatest dangers of ministry is that you start a ministry, you run the ministry, but then you reach a point where you did not train people, and in the end it is running you. I don't want the ministry to run me. I want to run the ministry and pass it to others who will take the baton and run even faster. In all relays, the first leg and the last leg are often the fastest. But the middlemen too matter. They are best at grabbing the baton to to hand it over to the next. And the challenge of America that year was that some fantastic guys, but they didn't know how to grab the baton and pass it to the next person. So it's the vision of KICC to raise people. We're already into that in the United Kingdom, for example. I'm in continuous training with some young people, and we're already in all KICC churches. We have what we call royal takeover. Royal takeover is people 35 to 18. They run the service that Sunday. We're gradually letting them know that, hey, this thing is not about the senior pastor. One day you'll be the one to run everything here. So in London, we're training the young people to take over, to begin to ambition to do things. And whoever feels called of God, we encourage them to enter ministry. When we entered ministry, we were 22. I went to Bible school at 22, was posted to Ashimolowo 4 Square at 24 and a half. 24 and a half, man. So that's it.
Yeah. One of your sons was announced as, I think, to pastor one of the churches in the UK. How's he doing, sir?
My son, Ashimolowo, is my firstborn.
Okay, sir.
My personal conviction is always to pray that my son should do ministry, but they must hear God themselves. So when he finished his master's degree, I asked him to come to Nigeria. I wanted him to experience the baptism of Nigeria. So he came to Nigeria, did youth service, worked in UBA, worked in the old Main Street Bank. And at the end of it, he came also to work with us in one of my businesses, which is a property company, as just an officer. I don't believe in flying the children to the top. And after a while, he began to sense the call of God while he was doing that. Even though after his wedding, I asked him, where do you want to live? He said, Nigeria. So I bought him a house in Nigeria. I bought a house each for my sons. Okay. But after 1 year, in fact, about a year after the wedding, he just had so much rumblings in his spirit that God really wants him to move to England and to go into full-time ministry. That's how he came to be a full-time minister, and we gave him responsibility to be responsible for the young people. And as his gift began to come forth, and as I gave him opportunity to minister the word, man, I mean, this guy has more discipline in some areas than I can imagine. Sometimes my son would do 2 weeks dry fast. 19 days, I had to stop him one day. Hey, 19 days, but you stop. Dry fast, man. Pursuing after God. So it's his own conviction, it's his own sense of calling, is his own vision, but plugging into what KICC is. I don't want to call him, because if I call him and he meets with challenges, he'll say it's my dad who called me. So yes, he's doing well. He's not pastoring a branch, he's resident pastor too. There are 2 branches I am responsible for. I do some service here and do some service there. Sometimes we link via video. Like I preached yesterday in one of them from Nigeria. I ran all the service. So sometimes we just play it around. He takes care of one branch. Another time he'll do all of it, all at the same time via video. But his gifting, his ability is truly coming out. His gifting is truly showing forth. So he's doing well.